Okay, here we go. This week we're covering, among other things, the first chapter in your textbook by Monahan and Just. When I started getting into this course, which is my first experience with teaching a course in 8 weeks rather than the usual 12 or 13 week term, I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to find a textbook that I would find satisfying. But I've been pleasantly surprised by the, the short introduction course. Part of it is because it seems to be kind of in 8 weeks more focused than what you would get in a typical thicker uh, introduction to anthropology, cultural anthropology with a lot more chapters, and it focuses on ethnography, and that's something that I'm kind of more interested in than a lot of things that anthropologists get into. And the two authors are studying different peoples at more or less opposite ends of the world, Mexico and Indonesia, which is also matches something that I'm very interested in, which is cross-cultural comparisons and understanding how people have fit themselves into the total topography of the earth. Some other people have been working on a paper on that for the last couple of months, how to fit all of history into a relationship with the planet. But in this chapter that you'll be reading this week, they go through some of both of their experiences at different ends of the world, and some of that's very interesting. Quite a bit of it is to get you past the initial shock of how different other cultures can be from our own, which you'll get more of in next week's chapter on culture. There's a lot of a discussion about the possibilities of bias in ethnography, and of course that's always been a concern. How do you calibrate one ethnography in one other ethnography in another part of the world? And I sort of am sympathetic to the idea that they eventually come to, which is that there isn't any real way to calibrate these things, and maybe it's helpful to, in your ethnography, expose what your biases are and let the reader struggle with that, and that those biases, when they're reflected off of the local people that are being studied, may be more helpful than harmful. And you'll hear quite a bit about participant observation, and the fact is that there's just no way to get around that if you're going to learn in a very deep sense the way anthropologists want to learn about other cultures, you just have to go there a while and get to where you're integrated into the community, and they'll tell you the deepest secrets of their hearts and all of those sorts of things. And they sort of give you the little edges of the ethnographies that they're working on. I'll put something up on the ethnographic work that I've done in Mexico. interested in the Yucatan Peninsula, which is on the opposite side of the Sierra Madre or Antal from uh, where one of your authors studies in Oaxaca. And I'll have to say that going and living in a Maya village some and getting to know the people and to understand how they look at things and how they organize their life and everything is just one of the great enlightening experiences of my life, and I'm sure it is for everybody who's ever participated in any kind of an ethnographic study. And if you're inclined I'm sure that you can go and live in a village in France or Ireland or China or India or somewhere and get a little bit of that edge that you get off of studying cultures in great distant places. So just open your mind to what the possibilities are, and then in the next chapter is why we'll go into those things in some more detail.